Well, hello and welcome on this somewhat windy day to the handover video for your new Hyundai i800. Starting with the passenger door, inside the passenger door footwell you'll find the fill point for your freshwater tank. Now the freshwater tank lives just underneath the vehicle here, and it has a drain point on the end of it, which you can see here. Inside the driver's door, in the footwell, this time you'll find the toolbox with the jack and the wheel brace. Just underneath the steering wheel on the right hand side is the bonnet release catch, and that's where we'll go next. After releasing the bonnet catch under the steering wheel, the secondary catch is in the centre of the bonnet down here. Bonnet stay up in the corner there. Underneath the bonnet, very simple, on the right hand side is the vehicle battery. Next to that is the coolant reservoir with the markers down the side for min and max. Old fashioned radiator used to have a pressure release cap on the top, this has it too. Here we have the dipstick, oil filler cap in the middle there, brake fluid here and steering fluid there. Now the only thing you'll have to maintain under the bonnet on a regular basis is going to be the washer bottle, and the fill point for that is here. And that's all you need to be concerned about underneath the bonnet of your new Hyundai. So as we continue to move down the offside side of the vehicle, underneath the driver's door is where the grey water tank is located. And the end of the grey water tank, as you can see here, is your drain valve. Before we make our way along to the rear of the vehicle, a quick look inside the driver's side door at the back of the vehicle, where you can see you've got access to your porta potty from the rear, gas isolator for both the cooker at the top and the oven grill at the bottom, 12 volt fuses and your RCD trip fuses. There's also access here for the filter to the water pump, which you can clean out by hand and just give it a wee rinse under a tap. It's a metal filter in there if you ever get any contaminated water. There's also down here a little drain valve, so during winter time when you're draining the whole system, you can open this valve and drain all the water out of these pipes, so that you've got peace of mind during the winter months if you lay the vehicle up and decide not to use her. Continuing down the side of the vehicle, electric hookup point on the rear before we come to the back of the vehicle. Tow bar, quite obvious by its location. And in the back parcel shelf that forms part of the bed, which lifts up to reveal fantastic storage space. Also, your table is mounted under here as well. These are all the extras that you're aware you're getting with the vehicle: the drive-away awning, the ramps, and the awning connecting kit and the hookup. On the right-hand side of the interior of the vehicle is where the gas locker is. Two ways of accessing the gas locker. One through the access door for replacing the bottle. Secondary, there is a screw connector which allows your hand to enter and open and close the valve in the top of the gas bottle. To open the gas bottle, it's a turn anti-clockwise. At the moment there's a 6 kilo light bottle in the vehicle. These bottles though have been discontinued, but the same size as a standard 6 kilo bottle, and when it's finished you can just exchange for one of those. Above access to the gas locker is the attachment point for your external shower. Although it's showing as hot and cold, it's purely a cold water system on this vehicle. Before we enter the vehicle, I'll show you how the passenger seat can be swiveled round to face into the habitation area. Slide it back, tilt the seat forward, and there's another lever down here at the front. Lifting this lever releases the mechanism, allowing the seat to be turned round. There's a sweet spot which you can find, which makes it nice and simple to turn the seat round and make a comfortable seat to join everyone else inside the living area of the van. Now we'll enter the inside of the living area and we'll see how the habitation equipment inside your Hyundai now works. Adjacent to the sink and the cooker inside your Hyundai, you'll find the main control panel with main switches here for lights, water pump, master switch, auxiliary, and another bank of lights. So we'll start by putting on the master switch, and then we'll start switching on some lights. Now we've got some light on the subject. So your cooker and sink is in a combined unit, 2-burner gas hob, self-igniter, press, turn and hold down until ignition. Keep the button pressed down for just a couple of seconds until the thermocouple gets up to temperature. And away you go. Both gas down to a peep, back up to full, and then round to off. If you're going to use the tap, we do recommend, oh by the way, there is no safety cutout on this. See? So if you close that down, it'll close on top of the flame. Make sure this area has cooled down completely before you close the lid, otherwise the glass could shatter. To operate the cold water system, come back to the control panel, make sure your water pump is selected. There's a micro switch inside the tap, and that will function the pump. Just get into the habit of just having the pump on when actually required. There's also an auxiliary bank of switches, so if you ever wanted to fit anything like an exterior light under a wind out awning on the side of the vehicle, there's spare capacity on the control panel for that. Above the control panel is your Eberspacher diesel heater to supply heating to the vehicle. Simple switch to switch it on, and it's come straight away to a 20-minute cycle. You can come off of that onto fully manual, and you can turn the heating to whichever temperature you so wish. So let's move to heating. By turning the dial, you get a flashing symbol for the mode that you are about to enter to set. Let's enter. Heating's currently off. You can turn it from off to settings, and then enter the settings. Temperature, let's set it, say, to 29 degrees. It's going to run for 27 minutes or however long, or you can adjust it for, you're never going to have the heating on that long. It's a very small vehicle, it heats up very quickly. Of course, you can just turn it to the infinity symbol and the heating will be on as long as you have it switched on, unless you go back to settings and turn it to off. Directly below the cooker, you'll find your combination oven grill. Simply turn to grill, hold it in, press the igniter button. Once the grill has ignited, keep the button pressed in for a couple of moments until the thermocouple heats up, and that's your grill ready to use. Similarly, to set up the oven, you turn the dial anti-clockwise, hold it in for a couple of moments, and then dial up whichever temperature in the grill you require, or the oven you require. The fridge is below the oven grill and is controlled by a simple rotary dial at the back. The further clockwise you turn the dial round, the colder the fridge becomes. The fridge is controlled via the master switch on the control panel, so if you want your fridge on, you have to leave the master switch switched on. But of course, if you switch everything else off, the only thing that's going to be running off the leisure battery will be the fridge. And if you've ensured your fridge is down to temperature overnight before you start your journey, then it will not drain your leisure battery. Adjacent to the fridge, in the lower locker, you'll find stored the porta potty. There's a very simple mechanism with the rock and roll bed in your Hyundai. Grab the handle here and flip over the first movement. You sleep on the rear of the bed, which gives you a nice flat surface for sleeping on. The secret for getting the back down into the dropout space, there's a bar that runs under here. Grab the bar with your hand, pull it forward and tilt the back, and down she goes. And there is your bed. To put the bed back up, reverse the process, lift the middle section till it hits the lock, pull the bar forward, it will then go all the way back, catch the Seat belts here so they don't get caught down behind the seat as you pull it up. And then simply lift over the cushion area to revert the seat back to its original form. Dashboard operation is straightforward. Steering wheel controls for the stereo unit and for the Bluetooth connection to the phone. CD player at the top. Climate control here. 6-speed gearbox. To select reverse, there's a collar that lifts up and you go all the way over. Auxiliary and USB connection for playing media through your radio. Windscreen wipers on the left, lights on the right hand stalk. Mirror controls on the door along with the electric mirrors for the 2 front doors. And that is all there is to your Hyundai. There is though one last thing. No camper van is complete without its coffee cups. And that concludes your tour and the handover video for your new Hyundai i800. Once again, thank you very much for choosing Highland camper vans. And may I just take this opportunity to wish you lots of smiles and lots of miles as you go making memories in your new Wellhouse vehicle.